Released in 2008, The Dark Knight was the second installment of Christopher Nolan's trilogy of live-action Batman movies, appropriately called the Dark Knight trilogy. 11 years later, people still consider it not only to be the best Batman movie, but also the best comic book movie of all time. I can't really blame them either. This movie proved that one could make a grounded, serious comic book movie, and it would be both a critical and financial success. Of course, this formula won't apply to every character, but that's another story for another time. In addition, The Dark Knight has great cinematography, and every actor did a good job with what they were given. That all being said, there is one thing about The Dark Knight that I really dislike. It not only stops me from calling this movie one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, but it also completely ruins it for me. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the ending. Let's just start with a brief recap of this movie. Sometime after the events of Batman Begins, the first installment of Nolan's trilogy, Batman is teamed up with District Attorney Harvey Dent and Police Lieutenant James Gordon to take down organized crime in Gotham City. As you could probably tell, the mob bosses weren't happy with this plan, and they accept an offer from the Joker to kill the Dark Knight. The Clown Prince of Crime threatens to kill innocents every day until Bruce turned himself in. Eventually, he targets both Harvey Dent and Rachel Dawes, the latter being Dent's fiancée and Bruce's childhood friend. Ultimately, Rachel dies, but Dent survives, completing his transformation into Two-Face. After the Joker convinces him to go avenge Rachel's death, Two-Face goes on a rampage, killing everyone that he deemed responsible for the loss of his fiancée, eventually targeting Gordon's family. Batman is able to save one of Gordon's sons from getting shot by Dent, and the disgraced DA falls to his death. Wanting to keep the general public's faith in Dent alive, Batman chooses to take the blame for Two-Face's literal and figurative fall from grace, and the GCPD then launches a manhunt against him. Bruce then retires from fighting crime as Batman, only to ultimately reclaim the mantle 8 years later, as depicted in The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, I never really liked this movie's ending. When I first saw this movie, I was upset that Batman was getting punished for something that he never did. He was not the villain, yet he was being treated like one. After rewatching this movie over the summer, I noticed something else. We have a police officer and a vigilante, two individuals who dedicated their lives to protecting the innocents, covering up the crimes of a beloved district attorney just to ensure that he's still loved by the general public. I'm not really comfortable with this. Everybody should be held accountable for their offenses, no matter how powerful they are. Come to think of it, Dent isn't the only corrupt individual in the justice system. The Joker has 2 officers on his payroll. Without them, he wouldn't have been able to kill the police commissioner, a judge, and eventually Rachel Dawes. Yes, one of them is killed by Dent after he became Two-Face. The other was spared, so Two-Face could lure Gordon and his family into his trap. But something tells me their corruption was never exposed once Batman took the fall for Dent's actions. Now, I want to say a few more things before I end this video. First, I'm not remotely trying to imply that I'm the only person who had this revelation about The Dark Knight. I remember seeing this take from time to time prior to rewatching this movie, and now after noticing it myself, I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Second, I know I'm talking about an 11-year-old movie. Of course, it's not going to completely age well. Finally, I understand that this movie is special to millions of fans, and I don't want to take that away from them. I have no problems with anyone disagreeing with my opinion as long as they're being civil about it. Hello, I see that you have reached the end of this video. If you liked what you just saw, you can give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter at DialogueNerdy. If you really want to, you can also ring the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video.